June 27th on this day, in 1524, Earl Henry III of Nassau married Mensa de Mendoza, a 16-year-old marquess. This union connected prominent Spanish and Dutch noble families during a period of extensive European political alliances. In 1542, Juan Rodriguez Cabrillo set sail from the Mexican port of Navidad on the first European expedition to explore the west coast of North America on behalf of the Spanish Empire. In 1709, during the Great Northern War, Peter the Great of Russia defeated Charles XII of Sweden at the Battle of Poltava. After this major turning point, Charles fled into exile in Bender, part of the Ottoman Empire. In 1743, during the War of the Austrian Succession, King George II of Britain personally led Allied troops to victory over the French at the Battle of Dettingen in Bavaria. This marked the last time a British monarch commanded troops in the field. In 1787, British historian Edward Gibbon completed his monumental work, The History of the Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire, which became a classic study of ancient history. In 1833, Prudence Crandall, a white woman, was arrested in Connecticut for operating an academy for black women, challenging prevailing educational and racial barriers in the United States. In 1844, Joseph Smith, founder of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, was murdered by an armed mob in Carthage, Illinois, a pivotal moment in the history of the Mormon movement. In 1862, during the First Battle of Cold Harbor in the American Civil War, Confederate General Robert E. Lee attacked Union troops, driving them back in disarray and forcing their retreat to the south side of the Chickahominy River. In 1862, Confederate forces broke through Union lines at the Battle of Gaines' Mill, marking the third major engagement of the 7 Days Campaign during the American Civil War. In 1864, Union General William Sherman was repulsed by Confederate forces at the Battle of Kennesaw Mountain, a significant setback during his campaign in Georgia. In 1871, the yen was established as the new official currency in Japan, marking a critical move in the modernization of the Japanese economy. In 1890, Canadian boxer George Dixon became the first black world champion after defeating English bantamweight champion Edwin Nunk Wallace in 18 rounds in London, England. In 1905, Russian sailors aboard the battleship Potemkin mutinied and sailed for Odessa, sparking one of the most famous uprisings in Russian revolutionary history. In 1917, during World War I, Greece officially declared war on the Central Powers, aligning itself with the Allies in the global conflict. In 1923, Captain Lowell H. Smith and Lieutenant John P. Richter performed the first-ever aerial refueling in a DH-4B biplane, marking a milestone in aviation history. In 1929, scientists at Bell Laboratories in New York unveiled a system for transmitting television images, a major advancement in the development of broadcasting technology. In 1942, the Allied convoy PQ-17 departed from Iceland en route to Murmansk and Archangel, navigating dangerous waters to supply the Soviet Union during World War II. In 1944, Allied forces captured the port city of Cherbourg in France, securing a vital supply line during the Normandy campaign in World War II. In 1949, Captain Video and his Video Rangers premiered on the Dumont television network, becoming the first science fiction series on television. In 1950, North Korean troops reached Seoul, leading the United Nations Security Council to request member nations send military aid to South Korea. In response, United States President Harry Truman ordered the Air Force and Navy into the Korean conflict. In 1953, the writer Alice McDermott was born. She is known for novels such as That Night and At Weddings and Wakes, which explore American family life with nuance and depth. In 1954, the world's first nuclear power station began operation in Obninsk near Moscow, Russia, marking the dawn of the nuclear energy era. The reactor operated for 48 years and paved the way for the expansion of atomic power, which remains a subject of global debate due to nuclear waste and safety concerns. In 1956, the film Moby Dick premiered. Directed by John Huston, this adaptation of Herman Melville's famous novel is now considered a cinematic classic, noted especially for its distinctive use of light and color. In 1963, Henry Cabot Lodge was appointed as the United States ambassador to South Vietnam, playing a crucial role during a pivotal phase of the Vietnam War. In 1972, Nolan Bushnell and Ted Dabney founded Atari, Incorporated. The company pioneered video games and home computers and was responsible for arcade classics like Pong, profoundly shaping the electronic entertainment industry in the 1970s and 1980s. In 1973, President Richard Nixon vetoed a Senate ban on bombing Cambodia, continuing controversial U.S. military operations in Southeast Asia during the Vietnam War. In 1977, Djibouti gained independence from France, joining the ranks of newly sovereign African nations in the post-colonial era. In 1985, the United States House of Representatives voted to limit the use of combat troops in Nicaragua, reflecting growing opposition to American intervention in Central America. In 1986, the International Court of Justice ruled that the United States paramilitary intervention to overthrow Nicaragua's left-wing government was illegal. The ruling condemned U.S. actions as the Sandinista-led government aimed to redistribute wealth and improve education. In 1991, Yugoslav troops invaded Slovenia following its declaration of independence, triggering the 10-day war. This conflict marked the beginning of the Yugoslav Wars, resulting in widespread violence and the eventual breakup of Yugoslavia. In 1994, Aerosmith became the first major band to let fans download a full new track for free from the internet, pioneering distribution methods that would shape the future of the music industry. In 1999, skateboarder Tony Hawk made history at the X Games in San Francisco, California, by becoming the first person to successfully land a 900, a 2.5 revolution aerial spin. In 2007, after serving 10 years as Chancellor of the Exchequer, Gordon Brown became Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, succeeding Tony Blair and leading the country through a period of significant economic and political change.
Subscribe so you don't miss tomorrow's events.